Now, one thing that talks in this world is money. And I spoke with Conor, and we were talking about, why wouldn't you want to go for world champion? Because when I was a young boxer and I was coming up, I only dreamed about being world champion. Do you know what I mean? That's all I ever dreamed about. I wanted to be world heavyweight champion, British, world heavyweight champion. I'm only 6'1", but I was extremely heavy, hard hitting. I thought, yeah, that's what I want to be. But, Conor said to me, listen, it's about money. Why would I go and fight Barrios for a world title for 500 grand when I can fight Chris for 5 mil? And he's absolutely right. It's career defining money, especially if you're going to be able to beat them. Do you think Tommy Fury would get as high in the levels as he is if he wasn't a Fury? The simple answer about that is no. Now, Tommy Fury is a mediocre cruiserweight stroke heavyweight at best. Maybe British level if he was lucky, if I'm perfectly honest. Yeah. Don't want to smash him too much, but that would be where I would place him. He's made a lot of money in the misfits boxing and that sort of entertainment side of throwing punches at one another, because it's not really boxing. But that's will be where he made his money. To be perfectly honest, and Max would tell you the same, didn't know who he was until he came out of Love Island. But no, absolutely not. So it's like living on their, it's like living off their family name, really. But has he done great for boxing? Look how he was against the Adama Shiraz fight at the weekend. He went into Hamza Shiraz's corner and said, you're losing by 2 points. Tell me where that is fair. That's the bit that you've got to watch out for. One thing I'd hope that Turki Al-Sheikh does bring an end to is the corruption in this. That's what I would hope. Get rid of the corruption in boxing. So I think Hamza is a great fighter, but Adama's won that fight. He did, and he was robbed. Who do you think AJ should fight next? Don't forget Dubois knocked Usyk out. Dubois knocked Usyk out. When did he knock him out? When did he knock Usyk out? Science in it. Genuinely think Joshua can come back, hopefully. AJ did a lot for this. Do you know what I mean? A lot for the boxing world. But what I think is that when AJ fights, some idiot told him that he's a boxer. And I've said it a million times. He's not. He's a fighter, and he need to learn to use it. And he needs to stop being so overconfident. He needs to start fighting instead of trying to box. Because listen, son, you tried to box against Usyk and got slaughtered. You got overconfidence against a Daniel Dubois, who realistically you should have beat. Who then 90% of all of us pundits would have had you beat, and you got smacked on the chin and dropped. AJ is gun shy. I don't know why. I don't know what's happened, but ever since the Andy Ruiz fight when he got clocked on a dome, he's been gun shy. Usyk is the world boogeyman. I would probably put Usyk as number 1 pound for pound, because it's really difficult to do what he's done. Very few have done it. Very, very few. But at the moment, I'd have him as pound for pound, undefeated, cruiserweight, gold medalist, all sorts. But has he done great for boxing? Look how he was against the Adama Shiraz fight at the weekend. He went into Hamza Shiraz's corner and said, you're losing by 2 points. Tell me where that is fair. That's the bit that you've got to watch out for. One thing I'd hope that Turki Al-Sheikh does bring an end to is the corruption in this. That's what I would hope. Get rid of the corruption in boxing. So I think Hamza is a great fighter, but Adama's won that fight. He did, and he was robbed. Yeah, but it's fighting for that chance, isn't it? I don't, if the Anthony Joshua, who wasn't so careless as he was in that first Dubois fight, I think would stand a chance. I think it's his only chance at winning another heavyweight title. I don't see him beating Usyk. I don't think that there's a heavyweight of the UK that's capable of beating Usyk. I think Moses Atama is too naive. I think Fabio Wardley is too reckless. I think Big Fraser Clark just wouldn't match up to where it needs to be. Joe Joyce, clearly not. Who you got between Ben and Eubank? Eubank for me. I love Conor. I know him very well. The only reason I say that is I think this is a psychological game, and I think Chris is winning. And I think he's not just winning a little bit, I think he's winning bigger time. And the fact that he's bigger, I think he's also going to be stronger on the night. And the big question you've got to ask yourself is, who's Chris destroyed? So who's Conor destroyed recently? I think Eubank be too big and too strong. Yeah, totally agree. Okay, can I ask you, mate, your favourite fighter ever and a dream fight? Okay, so yeah, let me answer that. I'll get to everyone's question because there's quite a few. So my favourite fighter ever probably isn't someone that you would consider great. My favourite fighter ever is Frank Bruno. And the reason I love Frank is that I knew him when he was in Stand and Mazzy. I've met him many, many times. I just love the man himself. I think he's a great advocate for British boxing. I think he's fantastically well mannered, and it really is. I met him in a restaurant in Basildon. He wouldn't even let me buy him drinks. Do you know what I mean? And he was with Franklin, his son. And he was like, no, he's such a lovely guy. But he was my favourite fighter. And when he beat Oliver McCall for the world title, I actually broke down and cried in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? Because I just love the guy that much. Dubois is still on course for a Usyk rematch, says Frank Warren. So I want to ask you a question. Do you actually believe he was sick and was he pulled out? Or is he being saved for that Usyk rematch? I mean, I believe he was generally sick. But there's a lot going round at the moment saying that, no, he wasn't sick. He was pulled out because Usyk said he'll fight him. Or there's an AJ fight on the horizon. Really interested. I reckon he was sick. They want the Usyk fight in the ring as soon as possible. What do you think of the Pereira versus Usyk fight? No way. I think it'll be a waste of time. Pereira Usyk. Not till Usyk retires, because Usyk would just smash him to pieces. It's not even going to be funny and fair.